But no, I think this is somebody who has a very, very strong sense of loyalty. I don't think that she cheated.
But like to your point, because sometimes, emotional cheating is, the worst kind sometimes.
Yeah, I would say so. I also feel like there was, I think in the beginning, I genuinely believe that these people, this is the kind of love affair I think that starts with a really strong foundation of genuine friendship and then goes into more of a physical relationship. So I do believe at one point, especially at the beginning, that it was very genuine. Um, I don't think it's fair to say she had an emotional affair. I think it would be more fair to say that she struggled with the separation without communicating and started to just fall out of love with this person and be physically attracted to other people. So I don't even think she really went as far as having an emotional affair. I think she just realized that she wanted to be connected with someone that she felt more passion and intention for in a romantic way. Um, I do feel like he's blindsided. I will say, even now, I feel like there's a really big imbalance in the dynamic where I think that right now they're both saying that they're friends, but I think she really wants to continue being genuinely friends with him. I think he's going to continue being friends with her until he meets someone else. And I do feel like he's going to meet someone else that has long-term potential within the next 12 months.
You do.
I do.
And you don't feel that for her.
I think she's going to date several people. Um, I mean, I get the sense from her that like she really just wants to be out there. I feel like she wants to, both of them, it feels like want to have experiences. I think it was forced on him. And so now he's going to make lemonade, you know? But with her, it feels like she genuinely wants to enjoy being single, dating people, and then decide where she wants to go. So she probably won't be in a long-term relationship for the next at least 2 years.
I mean, I've been saying, again, I don't have any psychic abilities, but I've been saying, I bet you that he meets someone like within, I gave it 3 months to 6 months. So a year. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of feel it too, actually.
I always try to err on the side of caution because timelines, I don't care what anybody says. Every psychic I've talked to, that's the hardest thing to pin down. And so I look for the longest time estimate and then say it could happen sooner. Um, but yeah, I think you're very intuitive. So I would trust that instinct.
What about like how are each of them doing based on that? Because there's public gossip and fodder. Like how is Craig doing? Like you say, you sense that he was blindsided. Like, is he okay? Is he, like what you say to the media is one thing.
Mhm.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Like, is Craig doing okay with all this?
I think he's doing better. But it feels like he's putting on a brave face. I'm seeing really a lot of surprise and heartbreak. And also a feeling of I don't think she communicated that they were having issues. And so I think that's part of it is he feels like, shoulda, coulda, woulda, what would have happened if she would have actually felt comfortable talking to me about this. But the truth of the matter is I think that they're great friends. I don't think they're well suited in a love relationship. I don't see them getting back together. It feels like she can be very jealous. She can be very distrusting and she needs consistency. And I feel like he's someone who can be very spontaneous and they're stubborn in different ways that clash. And so, yeah, I think he's struggling with it, but I feel like she's moving on.
Do you sense, well, she was just at an NFL game with someone that apparently is just a friend. Do you feel that, it is like you say, they're friends and you don't feel romantic and you don't see them getting back together, but it hasn't been so ugly yet, although, like, do you feel sometimes, when there's breakups and like, do you see this
Mm-hmm.
getting ugly with these two people? Or, are we just moving on? Or do you see, they also, the thing is, they're both in the public eye. So there's a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
weighing in on things. But do you see this remaining kind of above board and tight-lipped, more or less like
Possible.
it has been? Or do you see this getting somehow ugly as the weeks go on?
I don't see it getting ugly. I think that she is going to feel his loss a lot more because I do feel around that same time, probably a year from now, she's going to kind of want to revisit things. I think he's going to be in a relationship with someone else. And I think they're going to remain friends. And I think it's going to be friendly. But I will say, as we get into next year, I feel like as soon as he starts dating someone else, it's going to kind of, I think, bring out the things that he wasn't getting from the relationship. And I feel like it's going to make them just kind of fizzle out as friends, even. I still feel like they have a genuine bond. So I feel like it's the type of thing where they could call each other and ask for favors if it was an emergency, and they would both show up for each other. But I think the reason why Craig is still interacting with her the way he is because there's still a little bit of hope that she may change her mind.
And do you think what it will take meeting someone else for that hope to go away?
I do, because it feels like right now he feels like this is his person. And I will say this, in my experience, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, I think we have soul connections who bring out certain aspects of our energy. I believe in past lives, but I don't think we have one soulmate. And then if that goes away or that person is not a good partner in the mechanics of a relationship, you don't get another connection like that. So I think he's convinced that this was his person. In reality, I feel like they were operating on different levels. So I think he's going to meet someone else that he actually has a more solid partnership with.
And then maybe realize what, that this wasn't his actual soulmate. And I personally
Yeah.
agree as well. I don't really feel there's just one person for each person in the world.
Hmm.
I mean, I would hope not,
Yeah,
right? And you
exactly.
think, because you mentioned like what, like at some point you think what Paige might have some regret, like she might come back around to like, hey, maybe this was
Hmm.
the person or this could have been.
Yeah, I do feel like this was hasty on her part. But I think, this does happen, unfortunately, to a lot of people where, in a long-term relationship, love, it's like a fire, it grows and it's big and then it kind of simmers down a little bit and then it grows again. So I think that's the issue. I think they hit a longer stretch where there was a lot of comfort and still a lot of love, but there wasn't a lot of passion. And so I think honestly, she jumped the gun, and it's going to give him the opportunity to see that she wasn't the best partner for him.
Interesting. Before we move on, you mentioned that you see him in a relationship with someone else like within 12 months. Do you see this as somebody new, somebody that he already knows, somebody that's already been in his life, is in his life, or do you see this as just like a random person? And, there also was distance with these two. He does live in the South and she lives in New York. Do you
Hmm.
see, yeah, someone, yeah, I guess not even geographics, but just curious if you see it as someone new or someone that he already has come in contact with in some sort.
This doesn't feel like somebody that he is currently friends with. Now, the interesting thing is, I feel like because he has a lot of business ventures, this feels like somebody who is actually involved in the same kind of entertainment or artistic industries that he is, but behind the scenes. And so this feels somewhat like somebody that moving forward, um, he is actually going to work with more. But I don't think it's ever going to be somebody who actually wants to be in the spotlight. And I think that'll work a lot better for him.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to give up singing that I want this woman named Naomi Olindo, who he already dated, who is also in the spotlight. I think they're perfect for each other, but let's just have Craig be happy whether it's her or not. I got to get off my Naomi train here because I've been pushing it, but nobody else seems to be listening to me. So there you go. Maybe